Hello and welcome to Fin Business. Today we are in conversation with Manoj Bhattacharya. Manoj looks after cash management at Writer. Manoj, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
To start with, Manoj, I would like to tell you that India is not a cash-rich but a cash-driven country as well. And I have two sets of data. One which says that post-demonetization the number of digital transactions went up, and now the data that we have which suggests or which actually specifies that the cash is back in the system. What is your view?
So, demonetization in itself is a singular event, but when you combine demonetization and GST implementation, these are significant steps towards moving a lot of informal economy onto the formal platform.
Right.
As a result, the transaction in itself in the formal platform has significantly gone up, right? So, because of which you see a significant uptake on the digital platform, primarily because a lot of B2B transactions are happening on the digital side. However, on the P2P payment, it's still a lot of cash in usage, and that's why you also hear the news about cash is back. Primarily, when you look at the country, the spread of it, there are challenges on the infrastructure side. There is challenges on the network availability side, and there are challenges related to the security aspects as well. With all the banking systems as well as the transaction platform. Resultantly, there is a little or slower uptake from the public side onto the digital platform, which is resulting in still significant amount of transaction happening in cash. So I think in foreseeable future of at least next 5 to 7 years, cash is going to remain in circulation. And when you compare that to evolved economies like US and UK, which have got significantly higher digital penetration in terms of solutions available, they've got much higher level of solutions. Infrastructure wise, they are far better off. Still in these countries, cash in circulation is growing. So we've got dollar growing at about 8%. We've got euro, which is growing at about 6%. So yeah, for the foreseeable future, cash is definitely going to be around, and that's pretty much true that cash is back.
Yes, we can see that the cash is back. Everyone needs cash. And when you see that in foreseeable future cash will be there, does it mean that the digital will take some time to settle in the market? Do you think that the digital payments are still far away from the adoption to the last mile?
So, there is this interesting study which is done by Citibank every year in terms of the readiness of the countries for digital payments.
Okay.
Right. Now, India has been making significant inroads in that space, right? So, just 3 years back, we were ranked 65, but today we are ranked 51 on that study. However, the interesting fact to look at is this ranking is done on 4 major criteria. Number one is the government and market support. On that, India ranks 35th, right? So, we are ahead of a lot of countries.
Right.
But when you look at the public uptake on these solutions, then it's ranked 65th in the world. Similarly, when you look at the infrastructure and the solution presence, we are ranked around 50. So there is a lot of work which needs to happen on the infrastructure side. There's a lot of work which needs to happen on the security side for the public uptake to happen. I think one of the key things that can happen in this country is while a lot of people are focusing on the end mile solution, still a lot of work needs to be done in the middle path, right? So you've got the transaction happening at the final end, but there is processing of the transactions, there is reconciliation of these transactions, there are security aspects around these transactions, which are not being addressed to that degree as the number of solutions which are being rolled out in the market. And that's where a lot of focus needs to be. And as long as that happens, I think the digital uptake will happen over the next few years in this country as well.
At Writer, how do you actually manage the cash? And when you are managing the cash, what are the major pain points that you face?
So at Writers, I think the way we deal with our customers is we tell them that we are coming with a cash solution. We are just not there to move your cash. We of course do that, but the primary aim remains to bring down the cost of cash for our customers.
Okay.
As customers we sort of tend to defocus from is the total cost of cash, right? Invariably, we are looking at what is going to cost me in terms of the logistic cost when I'm moving cash. But when you have an inefficient cash, which is held on for an additional day, that's an additional day of interest for the whole year on your balance sheet, which is a significantly higher component. And that's where Writer comes in. And I'm happy to say that, with quite a few banks, we've been able to provide them end-to-end cash solutions where we say that we'll be able to bring down the total cost of cash for you. And not just provide you either ATM solution or retail cash management solutions. Interestingly enough, while most people know us for just cash solutions, we are also into the payment space.
Since you mentioned some time back that you are providing an entire cash solutions to the financial institutions, when you are actually dealing with financial institutions and providing the cash management solution, what are the major challenges that you face there? What are the demands from the financial institutions, and how do you actually accomplish them or fulfill them?
Primarily, customers look at it from a modular perspective. So they would look at it from what's going to be my logistic cost of moving cash, what's going to be my processing cost of the cash. However, the cost of cash is not just these individual components. The sum of parts is always greater than the whole. So what one needs to look at is to try and see how you can optimize end to end. So the logistic piece, the processing piece, and the efficiency piece all needs to come together.
Right.
And only once, all of these individual entities are working in tandem and working in its full efficient manner, will you derive the lowest cost of cash. We have been able to present our cases with the banks. And fortunately, in some of the cases, they've been able to understand that how ensuring that there is efficiency within this whole space of logistic, processing and forecasting can bring in significant amount of benefits. Some of the banks have gone with an end-to-end solution.
So if you could give me a rough data that we discussed after demonetization, since you deal with a lot of banks and finance companies, have you seen a reduction in the percentage of cash that you used to supply earlier to the ATMs or from one branch to other branch or something like that for specifically banks? Have you seen some difference?
So there has been a reduction on the amount of cash that is being replenished into the ATMs.
Okay.
However, what's very interesting to note is the amount of cash that we collect from retail stores have gone up significantly.
Okay.
More importantly, what's happening is you will see that the transaction size of the ATMs are going up. So while the transactions prior to demonetization were in the range of about 2,500, 2,800, the transaction sizes today are in the range of about 3,800.
Okay.
So people are withdrawing more, and as a result, the number of loadings on these ATMs are going up.
Okay.
So that's really what is happening. So the amount per loading is going down, but the number of loadings onto the ATMs are going up because people are doing higher value transactions at the ATMs.
Is it because of the higher currency demonetization?
So it is a factor of both. So there is denomination factor, which is, when you are withdrawing 2,000 rupees, that's the minimum sort of, value of transaction that you're doing today. But apart from that, we have also seen that it's in general that the people are withdrawing more cash from the ATMs. One of the primary reasons driving that behavior is probably the fact that the ATMs go cash out very frequently.
Right.
Because the loading volumes into the ATM have gone down. Right. So while the number of loadings have increased, but every time that there is a cash out in the ATM, people are not able to transact. So there is a propensity to do just a higher value transaction so that you don't run out of cash.
Okay, so keeping those things in mind, you also specifically spoke about the retailers. Are they loading a lot of money into the ATMs, to the banks?
A lot of retailers today are actually dealing with WLA players. And they are providing cash directly to the WLA players for them to load into their ATMs.
Right.
These retailers have actually evolved and have figured out that they could bring down the cost of their cash by directly offloading this cash onto the WLA players,
right,
and actually charging them something for it, rather than giving it to the bank and getting charged for loading excess cash onto the banks.
So I understand, obviously there is a huge potential at the corporate side when you want to give them a doorstep service. But how much potential do you see in retail space then?
This doorstep banking services on the retail space today, the market size is only about 150,000 retail points.
Okay.
And that would tell you the unbanked population of the retailers that exist in this country. So there is a significant size volume of business that is waiting out there. There's a significant amount of cash which is unutilized, inefficient cash which is lying in probably the tellers of these retailers, or they are carrying in the night to their houses. Very recently we had a few news items happening in Uttar Pradesh where businessmen were, hit when they were trying to take cash home.
Right.
And that's one avoidable risk. That's one inefficient cash that could have come easily into the system and be utilized in a much better fashion. So that's the target that we are trying to address.
Last question on the risk or the security side, which is one of the important thing for all the financial institutions, and you're dealing with cash.
Sure.
How do you actually take the risk? How do you actually mitigate the risk? What kind of security measures do you take to protect the cash?
So at Writers, all our vaults are fitted with state-of-the-art security systems. We've got them all under CCTV, motion sensor, vibration sensor. You name the security systems and they are implemented. All our vehicles are 3-compartment. They are fitted with state-of-the-art GPS stealth systems. And we have a command center which tracks these vehicles online. A lot of our vehicles are also fitted with CCTV cameras, and we have got all our employees on a GPS tracking system as well. Apart from that, on the risk mitigation side, we are working on an alarm-based system for audits, which works on an intelligent, in-house intelligent developed system. However, we are now working with AI partners in trying to sort of work on the artificial intelligence side in sort of identifying the high-risk areas and auditing them. Okay. So that's something that is work in progress. We've got all our movements, all the ATMs that we service, all the retailers that we service covered under insurance. So that's pretty much it.
I think that was wonderful. It was really insightful talking to you, Manoj. Thank you so much for sharing those insights.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching.